Today on Rock the Park,
This is insane.
Alaska is showing us the mind-boggling power of water
So we got Portage Glacier creeping into view.
to shape landscapes
This entire lake is from all of the melting that's been done by this glacier.
test our limits,
Whoa! Whoa! Straighten out! Whoa! And challenge us to do something we never thought possible.
Yeah, baby, this is incredible.
This is Chugach National Forest,
Woo!
and it starts right now.
I'm Jack Stewart.
This is the real deal.
And I'm Colton Smith.
These are mountains.
We've been buddies for years, always in search of the next adventure.
Dude, what was that?
We share a passion for our national parks and other wild places around the world.
My God.
Heading off the beaten path, pushing our limits, and experiencing nature's best-kept secrets.
Here we go.
It's how we rock the park. We're staring down one of the longest and most intense tidal waves on Earth.
So right now we can hear this wave, we can see it. It's just like powering straight for us, which is so daunting. Oh man, my heart is just starting to pound. Ah!
Yep, we're back in Alaska, where anything is possible.
All right, everybody, we are at Portage Lake in the Chugach National Forest in Alaska. We're gearing up for a big adventure that we're doing all in one day.
The Chugach National Forest, just an hour's drive southeast from Anchorage, is the second largest in the U.S., and like everything in Alaska, it's jam-packed with glaciers, mountains, and water.
So we're starting off with something nice and leisurely. We're hopping on that boat to get up close and personal to the Portage Glacier. Then we're gonna start to put a little bit of work in. We'll be paddleboarding nearly 10 miles through this rugged wilderness down Portage Creek before we head out to one of the few places on Earth where you can surf a tidal wave.
Yeah, you heard me right. We're surfing a tidal wave, which is basically this crazy phenomenon where the tide pushes water up this river, this channel, and it creates a surfable wave.
We're talking about the longest wave in America.
Surfers here have clocked rides of up to 10 minutes on this epic tidal wave. Back home in Southern California, where I've been surfing for about a year, the waves are much shorter, and we're happy to stay up for like 10 seconds.
And I'm obsessed. I go like 5 times a week. So the thought of surfing a wave here in Alaska looking at snow-capped mountains has got me as stoked as one can possibly be. I cannot wait.
The Portage Lake Ferry is the quickest way to get eyes on Portage Glacier, a nearly 10-story tall, 6-mile-long glacier with its source high up in the surrounding Chugach Mountains.
So we got Portage Glacier creeping into view over there, and it is massive.
Glaciers are slow-moving rivers of ice that begin as snow way up in the mountains. Over the centuries, that snow compacts into denser and denser sheets of ice. When they get heavy enough, gravity begins pulling them down the mountain, carving out massive valleys along the way.
What's incredible is that Portage Glacier at one point covered this entire valley. It was 14 miles long. In fact, Portage Lake itself didn't even emerge until the early 1900s. This entire lake is from all of the melting that's been done by this glacier right here. That's right. Just over 100 years ago, this 6-mile-long, 600-foot-deep lake didn't even exist.
So glaciers carve out these big U-shaped valleys, and how they do that is the chunk of ice moves down through the mountains and it carries rock and sediment with it. So that's why when you look down here at the lake, it's almost got this milky color because it's just full of this sediment and rock. That's pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh, it's cold. This is a chunk of ice from Portage Glacier.
Wow, look at that. Oh, the stories that ice can tell.
Glaciers can feed bodies of water in small splashes or incredible moments known as calving. That's where entire sheets of ice crash and tumble into the water to create icebergs. It's not uncommon to see icebergs floating here in Portage Lake. So we're taking out some paddle boards to see if we can spot one.
Oh, yeah, that is some cold water. So when you're dealing with bodies of water that are fed by glaciers, you're dealing with some really cold water. If something were to happen out there and we were to lose our boards here, we would be in a lot of trouble. This water can definitely cause some hypothermia if you're in it for too long. So we're rocking wetsuits, we've got PFDs, we're gonna be safe out there.
And that's a good warning for families. The water temperature in this lake is in the low 50s, and young kids are way more susceptible to hypothermia because they don't weigh as much and can lose body heat faster. It's much safer to explore from a boat. These paddleboards will double as our surfboards today once we reach the tidal flats. But we've got nearly 10 miles to cover before that.
We're constantly scanning the shoreline for any signs of wildlife. Out here, we could definitely spot some moose, some bald eagles, and if we were really, really lucky, potentially even some bears.
Scientists estimate nearly 300 brown bears make their home in this section of the Kenai Peninsula. Weighing up to 1,000 pounds, these bears are thought to be isolated from the larger Alaskan brown bear population due to the large glaciers and unique geography of this region.
Sometimes, looking too closely for these amazing predators can put you a bit off balance. Oh! Whoa!
It's mighty, mighty cold. Ah, gosh, that was hilarious. It was a shock to my system, I'm not gonna lie.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm headed into a Class 1 rapid with no paddle. This is not what you want.
We're paddling across Portage Lake in the Chugach National Forest, keeping our eyes peeled for any icebergs that may have calved off the nearby Portage Glacier.
Alaska is home to about 100,000 glaciers, and some of them, even with the climate change, they still are advancing, but those are very few and far between.
2 miles into our paddle, Alaska throws us its first curveball of the trip.
We're making some good progress, but we are starting to feel that wind that's going against us and making the strokes in the journey a little more challenging.
Glacial valleys serve as huge funnels for cold wind blowing down the mountains. Right now, we're in the crossfire.
The wind right now is just blowing right in our faces. Just having to paddle with everything we got. Hey, Colton,
Yeah,
you see those trees?
yeah.
Let's keep our eyes peeled for eagles.
It's estimated that there are more bald eagles living in this section of the Prince William Sound than the entire lower 48 states put together.
Check out this iceberg. Got an iceberg right here. I got so excited I fell right off my my paddleboard. This big chunk of ice calved off of the glacier right around that corner, and it's probably massive. In fact, we probably want to stay a little bit away from it.
Only 10% of any iceberg is visible from the surface. We're keeping a safe distance because it could flip to the surface at any time, injuring anyone or anything in its path.
And who knows how big that is underneath. Look how blue that is. The blue within that ice is formed by being really compressed down. It's ice that is just crunched together, and the light reflecting off of it casts that bluish color.
I mean, some of this ice has been around for thousands and thousands of years.
As Portage Glacier recedes further and further up the mountain, stunning icebergs like these may soon become a thing of the past here in Portage Lake.
What do you say, should we head down towards the river?
Yeah, we probably should. We're on a time schedule today. We're not missing that wave, I can tell you that.
From Portage Lake, we've got a 6-mile paddle downriver to meet up with our surf guides. And just in case, we're protecting our arms and upper bodies with a wetsuit.
One thing we know about Alaska and rivers, though, is that you gotta be prepared for anything. There could be trees in the river that we gotta dodge. So we're gonna keep our eyes peeled. We're gonna make sure we're not just like bulldozing into anything.
It's not long before the current picks up and what began as a strenuous paddle becomes even harder.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh. Great lesson in there, everybody. Oh no.
Oh no, I don't have a paddle. So I fell off my paddle board and I lost the end of my paddle somehow. It came off. Shoot. I'm headed into a class 1 rapid with no paddle. This is not what you want.
Here you go.
Fortunately, one of our crew lends me an extra paddle.
Whoa. We got some more rapids coming up.
We've done our fair share of whitewater rafting, but never on a paddleboard. All kidding aside, this river is moving much faster than we anticipated. It's also much shallower, meaning every fall comes with the danger of landing on a rock or another obstacle.
Ooh, big wave. Oh boy. Whoa. Oh no, that's a big rock. Whoa. Whoa. Straighten out. Whoa.
This is getting well out of our comfort zone.
Whoa. Whoa. Rock. All right.
I'm stuck.
We're in Alaska in Chugach National Forest, where a slow float down the river has turned into an obstacle course.
Whoa. Not when I wanted to spin around.
So far, we've broken a paddle, taken multiple dips in the near freezing water, and bumped more than our fair share of rocks and logs.
Whoa. Whoa. Rock. So lately up here in Alaska, the temperatures have been unusually hot. I'm talking record-breaking heat. One of the results is the ice around us is melting at a faster rate this summer, and that's leading to these glacially fed rivers being a little faster than normal. I'm gonna give you a little running room.
Big rock right there.
Oh yeah. Whoa, oh. You all right, you all right?
I'm stuck.
Oh, all right, we're good. It's shallow, it's not that hard.
Dude, I don't like this. I don't feel very comfortable on this
Yeah.
at all.
Numerous trips to Alaska have taught us one important lesson. When nature starts telling you you're getting in over your head, listen. 2 miles from our destination, we're playing it safe and hitching a ride with our crew for the rest of the way. There's no sense in hurting ourselves before we tackle the tidal wave that we came here for.
Let's be real with this. It was a great day. We got to see some of this national forest, which is just awe-inspiring and drop-dead gorgeous, but today is all about this wave. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. The last 2 activities and the introduction to these paddleboards is not exactly leaving me beaming with confidence. However, I think the only way to think about it is the 3rd time's a charm.
No, I'm confident about surfing. I want to get into my element. Get off this river, get off this lake, and let's go surfing.
We're meeting our guides Lily and Kayla at the Turnagain Arm, where the tide pushes water up this channel.
Right now, the switch between low tide and high tide is going to happen. And as that high tide moves itself up through this channel, it goes from the Cook Inlet into the arm, it's going to make a wave. So every day it changes. Every month it's drastically different, and we get to surf it every day and watch it and show up to share it with people.
Known as bore tides, tidal waves like these only occur in about 60 places on Earth. Most of the time they're too small to surf, but around new and full moons, the gravitational pull is strong enough to create a continuous wave that you can actually ride up the channel.
When I hear like tidal wave, I'm thinking of like a massive wall of water that's like 20+ feet high rushing at you.
No.
I know that's not what it is, but what's the gauge here?
It could be anywhere from here, and then if we're lucky, we'll get here, and sometimes it'll jack up to about here.
Depending on the shape of the sediment underneath on the water, which is changing every day. So sometimes it'll get a little bit bigger.
For the most part, when you catch a wave in the lower 48, you're lucky enough to ride for up to 10 seconds before the wave crashes near the shore. Surfers in the Turnagain Arm have been known to ride the same wave for up to 10 minutes.
Is it possible to miss the wave?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
Like, first time people come out here and try it, half of the people miss it.
Okay.
Good. So one of us is gonna miserably fail.
No.
That's the other thing about surfing a board tide. Miss the wave, and we've got a 12-hour wait before the next one comes at low tide. I surf less than Jack, so the thought of missing my chance is definitely making me nervous.
And now it's just inching its way closer and closer and closer. Your heart rate's starting to go, and it's about to get real.
We're in Alaska's Chugach National Forest, about to catch a tidal wave moving through the Turnagain Arm. If we miss it, we're out of luck.
I'm excited for you guys.
I'm really excited.
But it's still a ways off, so while we wait, we're searching for the large pods of beluga whales that feast on salmon here in July and August. I wonder what they think of this daily spectacle.
So right now we can hear this wave. We can see it. It's just like powering straight for us, which is so daunting. Normally you sit and like a wave like appears out of nowhere. This thing we've been watching coming for like a mile or longer, it seems. It's insane.
We first got eyes on it, I would say maybe 5-10 minutes ago. And now it's just inching its way closer and closer and closer. Your heart rate's starting to go, and it's about to get real.
Today's board tide looks to be about 4 feet tall, more than enough to get a good ride in, if we can catch it.
This is gonna be so intense.
Oh man, my heart is just starting to pound. Ah, this is out of this world, man.
Beautiful mountains, epic tidal wave.
Jump too soon and the wave will rush over you. Jump too late and it will pass you by. We've got to wait for the exact moment when it hits the back of our boards.
Here we go. Oh, yeah, baby. We're on it.
We're on it.
I'm so tempted.
Our guides tell us to ride the wave on our bellies for a bit to get the feel of it. After about 30 seconds, I'm ready.
Oh, yes.
Woo! Yeah! You got it, dude.
I see Jack pop up, and I know it's time to go for it. At first, all I can feel is the raw, chaotic power of this wave. But then, you start looking around, taking in the beauty of this place, and you feel at peace.
We're approaching nearly 2 minutes on this wave, easily the longest ride of our lives.
Yeah, baby. Yes. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
This is incredible. We nailed it.
After a few more seconds, the board tide peacefully passes us by.
That was so awesome. Craziest thing in the world to just sit there and listen to this massive wave come at you. It was an absolute roar. It sounded like the thickest waterfall you've ever seen in your life. And then you're just watching it just come at you.
I mean, that was like the greatest ride I've ever had in any type of water anywhere. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
Alaska, just this place that we've been to so many times now, but every single time we come here, we get a different experience.
Alaska was the first place we ever visited that was like so foreign, so gnarly. And every time we come back, there is something else that is just as spectacular, just as amazing. And to tell you the truth, at first I was worried that we only had one opportunity to be able to nail this thing. And now looking back at it, I think that was perfect. We're here, we've got one chance to give it our all and to try to make the most of the day and the experience. And man, how do you beat that?
Well, dude, hey, tidal wave, we rocked it.
Dang right we did, man.
For epic beauty and experiences that take us above and beyond anything we've ever done before, Alaska is a place that never fails to inspire. And remember,
If we can do it, so can you. Oh, woo!
So the next chance you get, go out and rock the park. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave any questions or comments that you have.
And please subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more to come.